47 a.m.
Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
Jules, this is Ryan. Listen, on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well, and it's not looking good, I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. So happy this time. Same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you, and I'll see you later. Bye, babe.
What are those people going to do? All the elevators are blocked out.
In a country that most people would struggle to find on a map, in a compound that few possess the courage to enter, men from my previous life took the fight to our enemy. In that compound, they found men that pray 5 times a day for your destruction. Those men don't care about your religious beliefs. They don't care about your political opinions. They don't care if you sit on the left or the right, liberal or conservative, pacifist or warrior. They don't care how much you believe in diversity, equality, or freedom of speech. They don't care. I'm sorry you've never smelled the breath of a man who wants to kill you. I'm sorry you've never felt the alarm bells ringing in your body, the combination of fear and adrenaline as you move towards the fight instead of running from it. I'm sorry you've never heard someone cry out for help or cried out for help yourself, relying on the courage of others to bring you home. I'm sorry you've never tasted the salt from your own tears as you stand at flag-draped coffins burying men you were humbled to call your friends. I don't wish those experiences on you, but I do wish you had them. Most will never understand the sacrifice required to keep evil men like those from that distant compound away from our doorstep. But it would not hurt you to try and understand. It would not hurt you to take a moment to respect the sacrifices that others make on your behalf, whether they share your opinions or not. It would not hurt you to take a moment to think of the relentless drain on family, friends, and loved ones that are left behind, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, sometimes forever. Ideas are not protected by words. Paper and ink may outline the foundation and principles of this nation, but it is blood, only blood, that protects it. In that dusty compound, a man you have never met gave everything he had so that you have the freedom to think, speak, and act however you choose. He went there for all of us, whether you loved or hated what he stood for. He went there to preserve the opportunity and privilege to believe, to be, and to become what we want. You have the choice every day as to which category you want to be in which direction you want to move. You have that choice because the best among us, the best we ever had to offer, fought and bled and died for it. Don't ever forget that.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SITREP. So Alpha, I don't know if you saw this, but the charging documents on the J6 pipe bomber have been published.
I did.
Have you read them yet?
Not the whole thing. I've read about the first third of the page.
Okay, so we'll read them.
I have you want me to bring it up?
I have them. I haven't pulled up. Yeah, so I literally saw that right before we went live and was like, oh, well, now we've got something that we got to read, right? We got to read this because it looks like it's going to be pure gold. And I was scampering in the background to get some things together so that we had, a segment on this that we could do. And I wanted to go see what Kyle's take was, and Kyle's live, so we should call in. He's doing a call-in show, so we should call into his show while we're on our show.
He'll be so mad at me.
Why would we be mad?
I didn't say mad at you. I said mad at me.
Why would he be mad at you?
Because I'm gonna piss him off all live.
Oh, well, let me see if he has. Does he have his number up or anything? He doesn't even have a phone number up.
No, it's the call-in is for the subscribers. At the beginning of the month, he puts out he changes the number every month, and so this way, when the subscribers subscribe, they get the access to that. This way, it keeps the trolls from jumping in.
Well, let's call his normal cell phone and be like, "Yo, put us on the air. You're on the air."
Oh,
no,
I'll let you do that. Shit, I ain't doing that though.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. We're going to get into that J6 pipe bomber. There's a lot that happened in the military, the Hegseth documents, the Venezuela stuff. Obviously, we've got the CIA shooter. The Afghan shooter. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about tonight. So let's get into it. Before we do that, we got to talk about our good sponsors over at Loaded Gun. You guys are all familiar with Loaded Gun Coffee. They've been a longtime supporter of Badlands, and you may have met them in person at our GART events. They're awesome people. But did you know they are a veteran-ran, family-owned shop in Lake Havasu, Arizona? Every bag of their whole bean coffee delivers high-octane, patriotic punch. With a long family history of commitment to freedom, every bag is a testament of pride and honor, from the skilled farmers who cultivate each blend to their roasters that handpick the finest coffee beans from around the world. Loaded Gun Coffee has mastered their unique brewing methods, resulting in the best tasting coffee around. This coffee is smooth and delicious, the perfect way to start your mornings. Get over to badlandsmedia.tv/loaded and use promo code Badlands to get 10% off your order. And if you're in the Lake Havasu area, stop in and tell them Alpha and CannCon sent you. And Ash, too. She gets mad if I don't include her in that. Again, that's badlandsmedia.tv/loaded, promo code Badlands, and stay loaded with Loaded Gun Coffee. All right.
Right here, baby.
Yeah. I got my camo hat. It's right over there.
Loaded Gun Coffee.
Actually,
yeah.
It's in my car, I think, actually. But
yeah.
Did you drink some before we went live?
I'm late on my coffee today, man.
All right. Well, let's get a word from our friends over at MyPillow.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest Made in America sale ever. We just put huge discounts on products made right here in the USA. MyPillow bed pillows, body pillows, go anywhere pillows, bolster pillows, all made with my patented adjustable fill. Mattresses, mattress toppers, mattress pads, adjustable bed frames, mattress foundations, and so much more. All made right here in the USA. And now we're expanding our USA products beyond just quality sleep. Like the cross I wear every day, now available in both men's and women's. We even have USA-made socks. And are you tired of being tired? Try our new health beverage, Rev 7. Or how about my coffee, the greatest coffee ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get deep discounts on all these products. Plus, for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
All right, MyPillow.com, promo code Badlands. Get all your holiday shopping done at Badlands sponsors. Check out badlandsmedia.tv/shop and go there before you go to Amazon and the big box stores and all those other stores. Check out the little guys that support this community. All right. What happened?
That's it.
You doing that?
No.
Oh, all right.
You've
Well,
never heard?
no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But smash that thumbs up. Smash
Freaking
that thumbs up.
Freaking East Coasters, man.
There it is.
Oh, one Mr. Brian Cole, the alleged J6 pipe bomb.
Alleged.
I
That's
said
your
that.
J6 pipe bomber.
I said
And
alleged.
I know. I was just doubling down on that. I was doubling down. That's it.
Mhm.
And check this
Capital
out from CNN.
attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device. Jr., a 30-year-old white man, 30-year-old white man, 30-year-old white man, 30-year-old white man, 30-year-old white man from.
I hate these people.
I mean, you know,
Is he like is he like Cam White? Like he acts like really, really white. I don't know.
maybe he identifies. Oh, we don't do that no more, huh? Yeah, we don't do that.
We're done with that stuff. I mean, if you can be Jerome, he can be, or Jerome. He can be a white guy.
You know, man, there was so much social media agendas being pushed. He's MAGA. He voted for Trump. Dude, there's all kinds of wild shit that went out there, man.
I'm reposting that. That's epic.
Oh, that's legit, bro.
Oh man, just the comments on this.
The internet is ruthless, bro.
And of course, he's being represented by Ben Crump.
Dude, if that didn't tell you his position right there, that alone tells you everything you need to know.
The Dilly meme team.
They're savages, bro.
Dude, like how do you
go up one? Okay, that one's actually probably legit. Okay.
Let me see. What happens if I type in Brian Cole White? Let's see what happens. It's not funny. Come on. There's got to be some funny in here. Oh, hey. Couple made in heaven. 98% forensic match. White female ex-Capitol cop turned CIA to a black male anarchist science nerd.
And that's why I said at the very beginning, I said it on Daily too, gotta know who's the one that's the authority on the software. What software is it?
Nah, bro. No.
This was a rug pull, bro. This was a rug pull.
What's the rug? This guy? You think it's this guy?
It ain't her.
All right. Well, let's read through the identification of Brian Cole. What is that document? Is this like a standard document? The identification.
It's the way they're doing their affidavit.
All right. You want to read it?
Yeah. Here, let me pull it up on my screen and make a little. Actually, let me go full size on here because I have us really small right now.
Here, I can zoom in.
No, I got it. You're good. Oh, that's even better. Identification of Brian J. Cole Jr. Brian J. Cole Jr. Cole is a 30-year-old resident of Woodbridge, Virginia. Cole is 5 feet 6 inches tall, and Cole wears corrective eyeglasses. Cole lives in a single-family house with his mother and other family members. Cole works in the office of a bail bondsman in North Virginia. Cole's, and there's a lot of interesting stuff surrounding that too. Cole's purchases of bomb-making equipment. The FBI has identified 1 bank checking account and 6 credit cards, the accounts, used by Cole. The FBI obtained records for checking account and 3 credit cards for the time period between January 2018 to January 2021. 3 additional credit cards were obtained for the time period of January 2018 to November 2025. The FBI reviewed the transaction history for all of these accounts. During 2019 and 2020, Cole purchased multiple items consistent with the components that were used to manufacture the pipe bombs placed at the RNC and DNC. Cole used the accounts to purchase these items from physical retail locations in Northern Virginia, as described in more detail below.
All right, stand by. Hold on. How did they know to get this guy's credit card records?
Well, they identified him first. So, well, if you go there, so Cash did an interview. He did a couple, and in one of the interviews, he said there was a lot of tips that are already in on this guy. There was already information the FBI had on this guy. They just didn't pursue it.
Allegedly.
I trust Cash. I trust Cash and Bongino until they give us a reason not to. And if you can give me a reason why we shouldn't trust them, I'll hear you out. But so far, I hear a lot of people saying, I don't like them. And the only excuse that I get to like them is, where's the big arrest? I'm sorry, that's not justification to not trust them.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. And I broadly do absolutely still have faith in Bongino and Patel. But where did this information come from? Was this, left over in the burn bags, or is this a development during their investigation?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. When they went back and spoke to a few people, now granted, this is going off the interviews, they said, I provided this information. Nobody followed up on it. And so what he's saying, as a matter of fact, I should go and find that clip. I think I have it. He said what I said in Daily today. As a matter of fact, it was one of the interviews that he did with Junior. I was like, were these dudes, were they watching Daily? Because they almost quoted some of the shit we were talking about. Like, it was actually pretty interesting. I'm not saying that they were, because I mean, it's an investigation. A lot of it's going to be similar anyways. But if they're going off of information that already existed, and one of the things that they did as well is, he said, I forget what he called the tech that they have. It's tech that's known, but they had a specific name for theirs. But it pulled all the cell phones in that immediate area, and they looked for the one that kept hitting the correlation of these spots, and then minimized those people. And that was part of the way they got some of his cell phone stuff. But he said
that all the cell phone data from the pipe bomber was gone, like it was destroyed, or it wasn't gathered. That's what we've been told for 5 years now.
Well, that's
what we've been told for 5 years.
When has Cash and them told us that? Because going off what he said is, they did new records requests because nobody ever asked for them, from the cell phone companies, from the cell towers, the cell tower providers. They requested all that, and that was all in his interview today.
Okay, let me check. Was the J6 pipe bombers cell phone data destroyed? Although it's probably now going to have the update because of this. No, the cell phone data was not destroyed. Brian Cole Jr. was not destroyed.
So, and one of the things
hold on. Past claims of corrupted data involved general geofence efforts, not the suspect's phone. In 2023, former FBI official Stephen D'Antuono testified to the House Judiciary Committee that some provider data from geofence sweep around the bomb sites was corrupted unintentionally during retrieval, possibly missing key leads at the time. However, major carriers like AT&T disputed providing corrupted data and confirmed intact records in 2024-2025. So, bring Stephen D'Antuono in right now.
Well, one, I'm not saying I trust him, but he might not be lying either. Because remember, they can corrupt a lot of stuff on their side. But remember, nobody had Brian Cole listed as a suspect because they never ran those leads. So nobody went and destroyed his cell phone because nobody ever approached him as a suspect. Nobody questioned him. He never got brought into questioning once. So when Cash and them, at whatever point, and I guess he said for a couple months they've known, at whatever point they started their investigation on him, that's when they wrote new paper. And when they wrote that new paper, that's going to be data that the FBI has never had. And the only reason they never had it is because they never pursued it. You track what I'm saying?
No.
So I'm just going to throw out a date because I don't know. Let's just say 2 weeks ago, they identified Brian Cole. They got probable cause that he's a suspect. At that point, whoever the special agent is, then writes a search warrant to Verizon, and I'm just using Verizon. I'm not saying they have anything in common, just so people understand. They write a search warrant for Verizon for Brian Cole's phone number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then Verizon provides that information. Well, that's the first time that it's going to be sought, and it's going to be the first time that it's recovered into a search warrant, because in the last 5 years, nobody's ever pursued that. And so then when they're looking at the data, that search warrant, now it correlates to information. Now, here's the thing. let's say they're going off what Antoine, I can't say his name.
D'Antuono.
D'Antuono. Thank you. Let's say they're going off the D'Antuono's report that he's looking at. And they see that segments of that report where the corrupted data is, those timestamps, because guess what? If I'm Cash, when I do find the suspect, the first markers I'm going to look at are the ones that correlate with the lost or destroyed information on what the FBI did have. And they probably did that. That's speculation on my side, but if it was me, that's what I would do. And if they went and saw, hey, his physical device and the search warrant reveals the metadata on his phone correlates with all that information, now you can go and arrest him. You have probable cause. So now you go and arrest him, which is what they did today. And when they went in and arrested him today, now you extract that device that he has. And now that's the first time that that device is going to be searched. So that means even if he deleted stuff or tried to destroy stuff, we have Salbright and all kinds of different, software programs that can extract all the information, and all that's going to be new information today.
You're assuming that he still has the same device?
Well, that's where I was going next. If that device is new, you're going to have an activation date. That activation date is going to tell you whether he ordered it online, whether he went into his carrier's office, but it's going to place him somewhere. And that right there creates a lead to where the old phone went, because now you get to look at that phone and you could look at some circumstantial stuff to put it out. The other thing too is, even though he might have destroyed that physical phone, if that phone was tied to the cloud device and he went and deleted information from the cloud device, there's going to be, you won't have, depending on what kind of software they have, at a minimum, they will have records of deletions. And if that deletions correlates with information that they have from the corrupted FBI investigation, now you can start painting a picture. It's all going to depend. I mean, that's all speculation that I'm doing, but it's all basic speculation, because that's what anybody would have did in any standard investigation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with Darlene McCassell. They found every J6er by geofencing within hours, but they couldn't find this guy for 5 years. When they knew exactly where to look, they knew exactly the timestamp of that he was at a particular intersection.
Because we had a corrupt FBI. And this is when I had Ivan on my show, this is what me and Ivan talked about. It actually, I think the post even went viral. This goes off my experience. And we said this back then, and we were right. We got vindicated, months later, over a year later, we get vindicated. But what me and Ivan were talking about then is, if you deploy assets, so not just actual government employees, but assets and contractors, every team that's going to do that has access to that, in their operational paperwork, is going to list everybody's phone number. And so when you go and you push these devices, the same devices they use to catch all the J6ers, you can also pick which information for it not to gather. And that's what I told Ivan, is back then I said they need to get once we got confirmation that there were Fed teams involved, you need to get the operational plans from everybody. And once you have the operational plans from everybody, then you go through that operational plan and you say, why weren't these numbers put into that system? Now, some of that stuff is going to have legitimate reasons to exclude it, but there's going to be someone that has to sign off on it. And that person that sign offs on it is going to be the one that knows about all the other information that's not there. And you know who to bring in for questioning. If you're a corrupt FBI, it's not hard to hide information.
I know, but this thing just reeks. Let's keep going.
Hold on. Tell me what reeks. Because
let's read through it before I say what reeks.
So far, nothing reeks. This is all standard information. This would read like, I think I would write it better. But nonetheless, I would approve it as a sergeant up to this point.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Both pipe bombs were manufactured using 1-inch by 8-inch galvanized pipe with markings consistent with the particular manufacturer's, the pipe manufacturer, product labeling. Cole purchased a total of 6 galvanized pipes of the size and shape on or about June 1st, June 8th, and November 16th, 2020. The purchases were made at 2 different Home Depot locations in Northern Virginia. According to the pipe manufacturer, approximately 26,000 of these items from pipe manufacturers were sold in 2020, and over 22,000 of these items were sold to Home Depot.
Okay, stop. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
June 1st, June 8th, November 16th, all 3 of those dates precede any knowledge that there was going to be a thing on January 6th.
Not true.
Yes.
No, you have, what was that thing that came out with Comey?
Trump didn't announce January 6th until
for Trump, but there was an event scheduled for January 6th that goes back to when Comey, because they showed Comey had 1 year advance notice. This was talked. Yes, this was talked about a couple months ago. They were like,
Trump made his announcement on December 18th. So a full month after November 16th. Joe Biden was barely declared the winner by the mainstream media on November 16th.
Well, it doesn't matter whether Joe Biden won or not. They were planning. They were planning it. I have to go find the article. If somebody has it, they can drop it in the chat. This was probably 2-3 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. But the information that came out, they're like, well, Comey had advanced knowledge up to a year that this was going to be, that something was going to occur at this time window. It doesn't specify J6, like J6, so to speak, the event, but the date J6 was something that they're well aware of. So there was a lot of time leading into, I mean, granted it's speculation, but it's still, there's stuff to support it.
Let
me
say that again. How they knew about January 6th and was this public knowledge?
Well, none of us knew it. We didn't. I'm telling you, it just got reported on a few months ago. I'm going to try to find it for you.
Oh, it just got reported a few months ago. How convenient is that?
Here's the thing. Do you want this FBI to tell you things or not? Because if they're going to tell you and you're going to say how convenient, well, then why should they tell you?
What was reported?
Hold on. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. But then if they don't come and tell you, then you're going to say, why aren't they being transparent? So you got to have a position. If you want the information, then you got to be like, okay, can we corroborate what they're saying and does it make sense? And if it doesn't, okay, so Cash and Bongino have to give us legitimate reasons of why not to trust them. And the only one, I'll throw the best argument anybody can make out there. The best argument anybody can make is, well, they told us that, Epstein really did kill himself. And I don't think any of us buy that bullshit, right? But outside of that, there is no other thing that they've said or done that creates any reason not to trust them. But let me find that Comey one.
Okay, while you're looking for the Comey one, I find it hard pressed to believe that this guy would be buying pipes in June and November, and that's I mean, sure. I just went and bought a compression coupler for my garbage disposal. I hope I don't get rung up on a pipe bomb charge in the not so distant future.
Well, see, and that's the part I was going to say. A good investigator, what they would have done at that point is I would have ran everything on that address to see if there was any calls for service, any calls for maintenance. Thank you. I would have researched all that stuff in advance. I also would have seen, is there a history of him farther back a couple years that shows that this is something he buys consistently? Because, I won't say a good crook, but a somewhat decent crook's going to come out and be like, oh, I was working on something. And then that's when you start questioning them. Well, what was it? What was the thing? Like, you can establish that. Obviously, that's not going to be written in this type of declaration or affidavit. That'll be written in a report. And I'm sure they probably did that. But you got to remember, these affidavits that we're seeing here, it's only supposed to be just enough information for the judge to be like, all right, there's probably a cause here. I
got you on that. I got you. All right. You want to keep going?
Give me 1 second just to hit search on here.
Holy cow, CannCon and Alpha are kind of testy today. Daily too. We're not testy.
We're not testy. This is how we roll.
People don't know. Like, they do the same thing with me and Ash. Like, me and Alpha after Daily stayed on in the back room for like an hour and just talked.
Dude, it was longer than that, bro.
It was.
We're talking video games.
Yeah, we were talking about all sorts of things. Nah, dude, we're not testy. We like to debate, and it is what it is.
And even if we were testy, they're not going to bother us.
Yeah, it doesn't bother us. Me and Alpha could get into a literal screaming match over this, and then we're like, all right, we good? Yeah, we're good.
We still gonna go play Fortnite, bro?
Yeah. Battlefield 6. Fortnite's for pussies, bro.
Team Xbox. All right, so Both pipe bombs were manufactured. I'm going to start controversy with that one. Both pipe bombs were manufactured using end caps, which were used to close the ends of the 8-inch pipe. The pipe bombs placed outside the RNC and DNC contained a mix of both black and galvanized end caps. The end caps had markings consistent with pipe manufacturers' product labeling. Cole purchased a total of 12 black end caps and 2 galvanized end caps from 4 different Home Depots in Northern Virginia on or about.
Sorry.
You're good. In Northern Virginia on or about the following dates: October 22nd, 2019, and March 10th, June 20th, July 8th, and November 16th, 2020.
So we're going back to October of 2019. Okay.
Dude, they did that to me?
What did you have laying around in your garage?
No. They said, they go, why? It was, I think it was like a year, almost a year and a half. They're like, why are you in Sacramento on this date?
Okay.
I was like, I was doing canine qualifications. Can you prove that? I'm like, yeah, call my company, and there's pictures.
I mean,
Like,
October 22nd, 2019 was not even like, that wasn't even the summer of love yet. Like George Floyd was still alive.
But you got to remember, it doesn't mean it was for J6.
Fair enough.
It could have been for any event. If the guy, and these are all allegations and speculations, just to make sure nobody gets sued. If the guy is who they say he is because one, I don't think he operated alone. Like no one's going to make me buy that shit.
Mhm.
So if he's working at the behest of the intelligence agencies or the deep state, I don't think they're going to go and use someone who's never done something before. They're probably going to use someone who's, all right, we've used them here, we use them there. This is somebody that we can trust. And this is somebody that if he needs to become expendable, he'll be expendable, which is probably what he is and probably how they treated him. But according to the pipe manufacturer, approximately 233,000 of the black end caps from pipe manufacturer were distributed in 2020, including to Home Depot. In addition, approximately 179,200 galvanized end caps from the pipe manufacturer were distributed in 2020, including to Home Depot. Now, for those wondering why does that matter, this is going to play into questions that the judge is going to have, that the defense is going to have. Well, is this something, are there millions of these things produced, or are there some,
Right.
Yeah. So just
Is it coincidental?
Yeah. So just, there's a lot of stuff in here that may be like, why would they put that? It's
Okay.
just, it's to appease the judge. Both pipe bombs were manufactured using a 9-volt battery connector with attached red and black wires. The 9-volt battery connectors used in the pipe bombs had identifying information on the black and red insulated wires that were consistent with those distributed in North America by a known company and its predecessors, the 9-volt distributor. Cole purchased 5 of the 9-volt distributors' 9-volt battery connectors from Micro Center in Northern Virginia on or about November 12th and December 28, 2019, including cash purchases made during the December transaction. Fewer than 8,000 of 9-volt distributors' 9-volt battery connectors were distributed in the United States between 2017 and January 5th, 2021. Both pipe bombs were manufactured using a white kitchen-style timer. Cole purchased 2 white kitchen timers from a Walmart in Northern Virginia on or about June 3rd, 2020. I had a completely funny racist joke, but just remind me to do that later. I am trying to be professional right now. Both pipe bombs used a mix of 14-gauge red and black electrical wire. Cole purchased 14-gauge electrical wire in red and black on or about May 23rd and October 22nd, 2019, and or about September 27th, October 7th, and November 24th, 2020. Cole's purchases of 14-gauge red and black electrical wire were made from one Home Depot and one Kohl's location in Northern Virginia. Both pipe bombs were packed with steel wool. Cole purchased steel wool from a Home Depot in Northern Virginia on or about December 4th, 2020.
Why would you pack it? Why would you pack it with steel wool?
I don't know, man.
Nails, marbles, ball bearings.
If he was, because listen, to play devil's advocate against myself, his argument may be, hey, I thought it was part of a red team. Because, when I was doing the canine stuff, and I've never been on a red team, so I don't know their SOPs or how they work. So I can't speak to it. This is just me going off what I've seen. We'd be doing real event. Like, here's one specifically I did at the Moscone Center, up in San Francisco area. And we ran Yeah, I'll tell you a crazy story with this too. But we ran the canines. Obviously, Secret Service had their own stuff too, but we were the contracted team to do the canines for Obama. Not that I was happy about that, but we still got a job to do, whether I like them or not. You still have to protect the guy, right? And the civilians. And when we're doing that, one of our guys in, I want to say it might have been actually his building as well. The night before, got hit by a red team, and they come in with, it's not a real explosive, but it has, the odors and things, depending on to what level they want to do it. I'm not going to go into, because I don't know how much of that stuff's supposed to be out there, you know. But imagine if this guy, like those guys that were doing us, what if one of them thought that they were just doing red team stuff, and all of a sudden he got arrested the next day, and they're like, oh, they tried to take out a former president. He'd be like, what? No, I was part of a red team. Like, who knows, man? Who knows? But like I said, it's possible. So continue on.
Oh, by the way, in the chat, they're saying that steel wool will ignite with a 9-volt battery.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It like it's used as to create the spark, I guess.
Yeah. I don't create bombs.
I mean,
I find them. I don't create them.
When we were in Afghanistan, we had to take bomb classes, and we made Liberty Line. Harrison Floyd's tomorrow, not tonight. Tomorrow afternoon. We had to learn like basic bomb making stuff, and I never remember steel wool. Like if you're packing like a pressure cooker or something, it's always going to be nails, ball bearings.
We had this is gonna create, someone's gonna clip this.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we actually got specific training by the Israeli Special Forces guys for the explosives, but it was so much information crammed into like a couple days. You can only retain so much, and you're only going to have that for a limited amount of time, but for us, it was mostly like the stuff that really mattered to us was none of us ever had intentions of having to disarm one of these things. So even though they're going through all the explanations of that, for us, it was like, if we identify it, we're backing off, and then we're going to have that vehicle hit it with the 2025 Mike or something else. Like, why are we going to risk trying to disarm it,
Yeah. The other question that I would have is, with the steel wool, did we hear anything about steel wool in any of the reports that we've seen?
I don't think so. I don't remember hearing about steel wool.
I don't. I remember black powder components that could become black powder or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. So both pipe bombs were packed with steel wool. Cole purchased steel wool from a Home Depot, Northern Virginia, on or about December 4th, 2020. In addition to purchasing each of the components used to make the pipe bombs, Cole purchased equipment that would facilitate the manufacturing of a pipe bomb. Such items included safety glasses on or about July 8, 2020, a wire stripping tool on or about November 14, 2020, wire nuts, which are used to join wires together, on or about November 14, 2020, sandpaper on or about November 21st, 2020, the machinist file, a tool for shaping and smoothing metal parts, on or about November 21st, 2020, and protective gloves and disinfecting wipes on or about November 24th, 2020. I know this sounds retarded, folks, but you got to put it in there.
So retarded.
You got to put it in there, man. The best way to explain this is let's just say that this was something. Let's just say this was an assassination plot with a rifle. You would see an affidavit like this that's doing the same thing if they would have found cleaning gear or gear that can be used to create a suppressor, or a gear that, Loctite. Like, it's just, I know it sounds retarded, folks, but it's in there because there's case law at some point where, because it wasn't in there, somebody didn't get convicted. Or,
purchased a black Sharpie marker, which could be used to draw on a target for target practice.
You know what? It's not unheard of, bro. No, because when you're dealing with graffiti guys.
Can you pull up the rest of this? I only have these 2 pages.
Let me see. Give me one.
I want to read the rest of this now, because this is not. We're almost done with this, and I'm not satisfied.
Let me just finish it. Following the placement of the pipe bombs on January 5th, 2021, Cole continued to make purchases of components used in bomb making. For example, on January 21st, 2021, Cole purchased one white kitchen timer and two 9-volt batteries from Walmart. On January 22nd, 2021, Cole purchased two galvanized pipes measuring 1 inch by 8 inches and steel wool from Home Depot. On January 22nd, 2021, Cole purchased two of a different kind of 9-volt distributor 9-volt battery clips from the Micro Center. On January 23rd, 2021, Cole purchased various alligator clips from Home Depot. Cole's location on January 5th, 2021. Since at least as early as January 5th, 2021, Cole has been the user of a specific telephone number associated with a cellular phone and then Cole's cell phone. That makes me think that exactly what we were talking about earlier is probably what happened. He had a new phone at the time that they went in and got him. So let me pull up mine and see if I have the.
Pull up the whole thing. I thought that was the whole thing.
Give me 1 second, brother.
One of the things I'd like to know is what else he bought during these trips, because context matters. Because I mean, a lot of this stuff. First off, going and buying, like, you pulled off your operation successfully, right? If that was your intention, which I don't understand how that could possibly have been his intention, if he bought all this before anybody knew about January 6th. Although, I mean, he could have been planning something else, to be fair.
What page did we leave off on? 4?
Yeah, but was there anything relevant on the first two? Because we started on page 3.
I think it was just talking about the affidavit himself. Yeah, I'm special agent. It's going to be his hero page.
Okay.
And backgrounds.
Oh wait, start there with background.
All right. Background: discovery of pipe bombs on January 6, 2021. At approximately 1 p.m. on January 6, 2021, multiple law enforcement agencies received reports of a suspected improvised explosive device, IED, in the vicinity of headquarters of the Republican National Committee, RNC, in Washington, D.C. at approximately 1:15 p.m. on the same day. A second suspected IED was reported just a few blocks away in the vicinity of the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee in Washington, D.C. The RNC and DNC are national organizations that engage in activities on a national level on behalf of their respective political parties, including the solicitation of donations from individuals outside of Washington, D.C. The headquarters of each organization is used in interstate commerce and activity affecting interstate commerce. The Hazardous Device Section of the United States Capitol Police, USCP, responded and performed a render-safe procedure on both devices. Subsequently, the FBI assessed that 2 of the devices were both IEDs, which contained a main explosive charge, a fusing system, and a container. The FBI also assessed that the IEDs used a hard metal container, metal pipe nipples, and end caps, which showed that the weapon characteristics were present. The FBI recovered the components of the disrupted devices. These components were processed as evidence and submitted to the FBI laboratory for analysis. The FBI laboratory issued a report regarding the 2 devices, opining that the submitted items consisted of 2 destructive devices and that the use of a hard metal container showed that the weapon characteristics were present. Now, let me pause here real quick, because here's what I didn't understand why they did this. As I understand it, and as this reads, and correct me if I'm misunderstanding them, it sounds like they detonated the devices or used something to detonate the devices, right?
I thought they used water.
Something to set them off, right?
I'm trying to remember. I remember when Bongino was doing his podcast, he did an episode on this where they had brought the robot out and they like hit it with pressured water and to see if it would detonate, and then something else.
And see, that's the part that I'm like, time is on your side. You have the area secured. Why would you not bring in your best of the best to disarm at least one of them so you can maintain its evidentiary value to identify the suspect?
Right.
You know, you're not dealing with like blocks of C4.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're dealing with one pipe bomb. It's gonna, even if it detonates, like, it's not going to have that kind of impact that people think from the movies. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I never understood, like, you can get so much evidence out of this thing, and it kind of made me think back then, you don't want to find the evidence. So anyways, to continue, sorry. The IEDs were both kind of a more commonly known as pipe bombs. Both IEDs were manufactured using a collection of component parts and main explosive charge. The component parts included a 1 inch by 8 inch and that's just going to go into the description that we already covered. Pipe bomber identified on surveillance footage. Review of video surveillance footage from the evening of January 5th, 2021 shows that the pipe bombs at the RNC and DNC were placed by the same individual. The individual was observed on video surveillance footage at various locations in the surrounding neighborhood between approximately 7:34 p.m. and 8:18 p.m. In the video surveillance, the individual was wearing dark pants, a gray hooded sweatshirt, dark gloves, Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes, and a face mask that obscured the person's face. The video surveillance footage shows the individual adjusting eyeglasses at times. The video surveillance footage shows the individual carrying a backpack. Video footage shows the individual traveling on foot through the surrounding neighborhood of the RNC and DNC, including portions of the route travel between the two locations. Through video surveillance, the FBI recreated the individual's path of travel, including timestamps associated with the individual's location along the route. The individual placed the pipe bomb at the DNC at approximately 7:54 p.m. and at the RNC at approximately 8:16 p.m. on January 5th. In January 20th, 2021, the FBI conducted reverse projection photogrammetry examination, i.e. a height analysis of the individual depicted in the video surveillance. The height analysis showed that the approximate distance from the ground to the top of the individual's head, including headwear, was 5 feet 7 inches with an error rate of plus or minus negative 1.1 inches, plus or minus negative or 1.1 inches.
You don't have to say negative, just plus or minus 1.1 inches. The minus implies negative.
Thank you, brother. Identification of Brian J. Cole Jr. Brian K. Joel Jr. Cole is a 30-year-old resident of Woodbridge. Didn't we just read this? This is the part we read, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is page 3 and 4 we read, so we're on to 5.
All right. So 5, I'll start there with
zoom in a tad bit more if you can too. Maybe like 2 clicks. 1. Maybe you can't.
Right there. We can do it. All right. Cole's location on January 5th, 2021. Since at least as early as January 5th, 2021, Cole has been the user of a specific telephone number associated with cellular phone, Cole's cell phone. The FBI obtained historical cell site records associated with cell towers. Who knew what they were talking about? Just saying. With cell towers located in the immediate vicinity of the RNC and DNC for a relevant time period on January 5th, 2021. Historical site records associated with cell towers provide location data for cellular phones at specific points in time when the cell phone engages in a transaction with a cell phone tower. Such transactions can include voice calls, text message, or other data usage. Transactions involving data usage can include a user's active use of a phone, e.g. navigating to a web page, and during a user's passive use of a phone, such as when an application on the phone refreshes data in the background. Records
why doesn't it say when they obtain that data?
I don't know.
I mean, of all the meticulous shit they listed on the stuff about what he bought, when he bought it, going all the way back to 2017, they don't tell us when they got the historical phone data.
Let me see if that's not referenced above. We read all that. That's the background.
I don't.
Because this affidavit is being submitted for a limited purpose of establishing probable cause to support a criminal count, I have not included each and every fact known to me concerning. I already explained that part. The affidavit is based on my personal knowledge, information provided to me, and through other law enforcement agencies. Rule 41 search warrant, witnesses, interviews, training experience. This affidavit is real property. Special agent. These have also. Yeah, it doesn't show here so far. But it's probably because it's not probably, there is another search warrant for electronics. Okay. And so that's probably articulated in that, because the judge would want to know, because it's not always the same judge. Chances are they went to the same judge that they did the request for the search warrant, because after you do the search warrant, you got to do a return search warrant, which means you got to tell the judge everything that you found as well. And I think you have like 10 days to do that if they haven't changed it. But let me go back where we were. There's the plus minus, don't say negative. And that was funny.
Have you read Kyle's response to this yet?
I have not.
Oh, we'll save it for the end. It's pretty good. more in line with my thoughts on this, which is weird because
of course
you
it's
know,
gonna be. He hates the fucking FBI.
yeah, but you know as well as I do that Kyle's not a big conspiracy theory guy. Like
He's not. He's
no.
not.
All right, keep going.
But he's gonna be now. Records obtained from the cell phone provider that provides service to Cole's cell phone. Maybe this is the way we finally get Kyle.
Full blown.
We finally is going to be like, you know what? Maybe
you know what? The 2020 election was actually stolen. COVID was fake. Joe Biden was wearing a mask. Q is real. When we get him on the boards, man, that's when we know we won.
He's gonna call me this weekend. Tell me about this Operation Looking Glass.
So tell me, do I start with the Q post? Do I start from number 1 or can I jump down to 32?
I'll be like, you tell me, you ghost. Records obtained for the cell phone provider that provides service to Cole's cell phone. The provider included historical cell site records associated with the location of the device on the provider's network on January 5th, 2021. Provider's records included location data for devices on its networks that engage in transactions, including voice calls, text messages, and other data. Each of the provider's cell phone towers in the vicinity of the RNC and DNC have sectors that provide coverage for the particular tower. Each sector of a cell phone tower provides approximately 120 degrees of coverage. Due to real-world conditions and various forms of inference, the actual coverage on the particular day for a particular sector can extend beyond 120 degrees of coverage or be limited to less than 120 degrees of coverage. For each cell phone tower, providers' historical cell site records show the particular sector that engage in each transaction for each individual cell phone. The FBI's Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAS, has analyzed the location of the Cole cell phone on January 5th, 2021. Provider records show that the Cole cell phone connected with provider cell phone towers consistent with the Cole cell phone being in the area of the RNC and DNC on January 5th, 2021. The Cole cell phone engaged in approximately 7 data session transactions with provider towers between 7:39 p.m. and 8:24 p.m. Provider's historical cell data shows that the specific tower for each of the transactions, along with the sector of the tower that engaged in the transaction with the Cole cell phone. I'm very curious to what they use here, because I would imagine that they got better shit than we do at the local level. And then the data we have, like something I would have included in here is I would have said, and they can show locations within 3 meters, 13 meters or 120 meters, because obviously the smaller, the more accurate. So I'm curious if they just are not putting that in there or if they're using something that's different. The 7 transactions between the Cole cell phone and the provider towers occurred at approximately 7:39 p.m., 7:44 p.m., 7:59 p.m., 8:14 p.m., 8:23 p.m., and 8:24 p.m. The 2 transactions took place at 7:39 p.m. During this time period, the Cole cell phone had transactions with 5 different sectors on the provider's cell towers. And this is going to show direction of travel is what I'm guessing. At approximately 7:39:27 p.m., the Cole cell phone interacted with a particular sector of the provider tower 59323, which faces southeast approximately 120 degrees from its location at 103 G Street Southwest in Washington, D.C., Sector A. Also at 7:39:27 p.m., the Cole cell phone interacted with a particular sector provider tower at 126187, which faces east approximately 90 degrees from its location at 200 Independence Avenue Southwest in Washington, D.C., Sector B. Video surveillance footage shows that at approximately 7:39:32 p.m., the individual who placed the pipe bombs walked westbound on D Street Southeast and then turned southbound on South Capitol Street Southeast. These locations are consistent with the coverage areas of Sector A and B. At approximately 7:44, the Cole cell phone interacted with Sector B of the provider tower 126187. Video surveillance footage shows that at approximately 7:44 p.m., the individual who placed the pipe bombs walked east on Ivy Street Southeast. This location is consistent with the coverage of area of Sector B. At approximately 7:59 p.m., the Cole cell phone interacted with a particular sector provider tower 147990, which faces south, approximately 180 degrees, from its location at 200 Independence Avenue, Southwest in Washington, D.C., Sector C. Video surveillance footage shows that at approximately 7:59 p.m., The individual who placed the pipe bombs walked southbound on New Jersey Avenue, southeast, and then turned eastbound on East Street, southeast. These locations are consistent with the coverage area of Sector C. Sure as well would have been pretty nice if we would have saw something in the Seth Rich report. Just saying. D. At approximately 8:14 p.m., the Cole cell phone interacted with provider tower 45111, which faces west, approximately 255 degrees. From its location at 101 Independence Avenue, southeast in Washington, D.C., Sector D, video surveillance footage shows that at approximately 8:14 p.m., the individual who placed the pipe bombs exited Rumsey Court and walked westbound through an alley between the Capitol Hill Club and the RNC, and then walked northbound onto First Street Southeast. This location is consistent with the coverage area of Sector D. At approximately 8:20.
Hey, hold on 1 second.
I don't hear nothing.
I guess we're in December. I heard I guess it was a firework. We're getting close to New Year's Eve. Just want to make sure it wasn't something bad. Go ahead.
Lock and load, baby.
Yeah, right.
This location is consistent with coverage area of Sector D. Subsection E. At approximately 8:23 p.m. and 8:24 p.m., the Cole cell phone interacted with provider tower 144340, which faces west approximately 295 degrees from its location at 600 Pennsylvania Avenue, southeast in Washington, D.C. Sector E. Video surveillance footage last captures the individual who placed the pipe bombs at 8:18 p.m. walking eastbound on Rumsey Court in the direction of Tower 144340, which is approximately half a mile east of the individual's last recorded location. The last recorded location is consistent with the coverage area of Sector E. Now, what I'm very curious to what Kyle can probably provide or at least question is, because he's already said publicly, for those that don't know, he was part of the surveillance team that was sent to track down the J6 bombers, for those that don't know. And they had, their team was able to track it down to a train depot or sub depot. What do they call them? Train depots, right? Just a regular train depot?
Yeah.
And,
Metro Rail.
Or, yeah, whatever it is. They were to track it there and were able to get a vehicle license plate.
Right.
And, you know, when they wanted to continue pursuing, you know, beyond that, they got pulled off. So I'm curious to, how does, go ahead.
Doesn't that tie back to the guy that wasn't that the guy they were surveilling?
That ties back to that woman's location and that guy's location, the neighbors, the Capitol Police officer lady, and then the Air Force guy, right?
So how do they explain away that piece of information?
Well, see, and this is what I want to know. What was the initial surveillance package that was given to Kyle? Like, what was the lead that they were given to start their thing? And, you know, at that point, you can work backwards to see if they were purposely put in the wrong direction, or if the information they were provided to start their investigation turns out that it was at least accurate to what they would understand, then you got to track every step that Kyle and their team did to see, you know, if there was a mistake made, because there's always that potential, or what happened. Like you have to retrace, you know, that investigation. But the thing I would be very curious, that what I'll probably hit up Kyle with in the next couple of days is what was the initial surveillance package that you were given? Because I'm sure he doesn't give. I'm sure he doesn't mind sharing now as long as it's not classified. So, but anyways, all right. Cole's other contacts with Washington, D.C. The FBI has analyzed Cole's purchase history associated with the accounts. Between January 2018 and January 2021, Cole made a total of 5 purchases within Washington, D.C., and on or about the following dates: January 13th, 2018, January 16th, 2018, October 31st, 2019, December 5th, 2020, and December 14th, 2020. Approximately 3 weeks before the pipe bombs were placed on or about December 14th, 2020, Cole made a purchase at a restaurant located near First Street and D Streets Southeast. The restaurant is located across the street from the entrance to the Rumsey Court on D Street Southeast. And that's all going to play into questions that they're going to ask him, because they want to see, is it consistent behavior for him to be there? Or if not, what they're doing here is they're setting up their line of questioning to see if there was a change of behavior in where he was hanging out with, or where he was hanging out for what reasons.
When were the BLM protests in DC?
Man,
I'm looking it up right now. December 12th, Trump supporters gathered for a Stop the Steal march in DC. So 2 days later.
2 days later.
I doubt he was there. I mean, he could have very well been there, but December 12th. So he wasn't there for either one of those. He was there a week before on December 5th and 2 days after on December 14th. I mean, you would think that he would be there on those days. I don't know.
For somebody that said Serapin was never with Badlands, he actually was.
Yes,
Yeah, me and him did a show together. An awesome show. I absolutely loved it. Roll call.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Were we okay? Approximately 3 weeks before the pipe bombs were placed on or about December 14th, 2020, Cole made a purchase at a restaurant located near 1st and D Streets Southeast. The restaurant is located across the street from the entrance to Rumsey Court on D Street Southeast. Conclusion. I'm curious who he ate with on that one.
Right? I wonder if it was a sandwich shop that I stopped at on January 6th because nothing else was open.
Rumsey, across from Rumsey Court, if you remember at all.
Let me look up. Go ahead. Keep going.
All right, conclusion. For all of the reasons stated above, there's probable cause that on January 5th, 2021, Cole placed pipe bombs outside of the RNC and the DNC in violation of 18 U.S.C. 844 subsection D and subsection I. I declare under penalty of perjury that the information provided above in this affidavit is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Respectfully submitted, redacted, Federal Bureau of Investigation, subscribed and sworn before me on December 3rd, 2025. And there's the magistrate that signed it.
Moxilla. Oh, that's the Canadian Indian guy, I think. Moxilla Upadhyaya. I don't know. I think that name is familiar. Yeah, I don't see it there. I don't know, man. So here's Kyle's post. Well, actually, no, let's play this first. Bongino on Hannity.
8 months.
Yeah. Sean, I don't know what the hell this prior leadership team was doing outside of, targeting political opponents, weaponizing the FBI, destroying its reputation, embarrassing agents that are doing really good work out there, catching terrorists, CCP spies, and everyone else. It's almost like they were intentionally trying to decimate faith in institutions. It's horrifying. I don't know what they were doing. I can tell you what happened, though, when we got there. The director and I, my first meeting, I swore in, and I kid you not, probably 15 minutes later, and the people who are in the meeting know, I said, when I get in there, I want a full brief on this pipe bomber case on day one. And I looked at the case agent after getting a full brief on what they'd done, and they had done some a pretty extensive amount of work. They had chased down, I think, thousands of leads, 6,000 plus interviews had been conducted, hundreds of tips. And it still was relatively stale, the case. And I grabbed the case agent on the way out. And I said, you're going to get me this guy. You're going to track this guy down and you're going to find him. You're going to get me this guy. I want him. And that started what's been almost a 9-month operation right now to make sure that we could get full accountability and transparency to the American public and find this guy. And today we did. But Sean, I have to add this because this is really important. You've heard all the cliches, team effort. You hear it all the time in sports. I said it today at the presser, but I want to emphasize this. This was a team. Judge Janine, Deputy Attorney General Blanche, people you and I know very well, AG Bondi. You cannot do anything in the FBI without DOJ process, subpoenas, drawn paper, search warrants, complaints, arrest warrants. Who do you think does that? It's not just us. We're the investigators. They're the lawyers. So that team from day one, I told Pam and Todd, I said, hey, Cash and I And Cash could not have been more supportive. He's like, Dan, go for it. They said whatever you need, and their attorneys over there were amazing on this case. So don't just throw the team effort thing out like it's just a standard cliche. I mean it. They really did a great job.
New York.
And he's still the deputy director of the FBI. Just pointing that out.
All right, so here's Kyle's post. For the record, I totally am 100%.
My brother that everybody hates.
I don't hate Kyle. Kyle is
I'm just saying because I know, dude, it's crazy how many people message me, and I'm just like, look, man, me and him have completely different views with regards to how this government is operating. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be his friend,
right?
You know,
I like Kyle. He's been very helpful. If I have questions, I can reach out to him at any time.
Well, that's another thing before you go, just because I know there's going to be some people that are going to want to beat him up for this, is if you guys care about Alpha and my story, you know, Kyle was giving me a lot of information that helped me, that allowed me to put pressure against the prosecutors against me. You know, like as much as I know from my end, I still don't know what the FBI knows. And he told me very specific things to ask for that was going to make the FBI shit their pants. And I requested it. And they shit their pants. You know, so this man helped me and my family out tremendously, which is why this is why I'll let him be wrong about this.
He's a good dude, and I don't know that about that. For the record, I totally and 100% believe the FBI discovered the pipe bomber on January 5th, 2021 was actually a developmentally delayed autistic black guy who lives at home in his mom's basement. That's why it took him 5 years to find him using checks notes, cell phone pings, a license plate reader, and credit card records. Totally. I also believe that the U.S. Capitol Police Department counter surveillance units are better than bomb dogs. And while we're at it, the moon landing was 100% legit. Oswald shot Kennedy. There were no significant WMDs in Iraq until 2001. The CIA always tells the truth. All Afghan refugees were properly vetted. COVID was a super killer, and the vaccines were safe and effective. And Joe Biden was a fit and vigorous commander-in-chief. Basically, I believe all things my government tells me. I don't question because I trust the lies. I mean plan. MAGA.
All right, now I'm going to pick his statement apart because a regular person writes that and I got no issue with it. Kyle knows better. Kyle knows.
How about Steve Friend? Does Steve Friend know better?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Well, I mean, loyalty is loyalty, right? You know, here's what I'm going to say. And this is something Kyle and Steve both know. Chances are the FBI, and I'm talking about this FBI, Cash and Dan, probably had a lot of information on who this J6 pipe bomber was a very long time ago. Very long time ago. And they probably had no intentions of disclosing that and arresting him right now. And they know that because what do we all believe J6 was?
A setup.
A complete setup. Do we think that it was just some pipe bomber that wanted to go and hurt MAGA? No. This was a PSYOP for a PSYOP. And there's a lot of people involved. And now the second that Bongino and them had to go public with this, then the deep state apparatus, whether you want to call it the intel agencies, whether you want to call it Gladio operatives or stay behind, whatever, the bad guys. The second they said they were coming after this guy and they knew it wasn't her, every bad guy that knows what went, because remember, the people that know what happened are the people that orchestrated it. And so as every headline comes out, they now know, okay, Bongino and them are going to be on us. Oh, they're now knowing this. They get to start covering their tracks and they get to start covering up things that they probably thought they got away with. Remember, these are not individual crimes being investigated. This is RICO. And in RICO cases, you don't just go and bring out the low-hanging fruit just to appease the public. No, that there's other things that are at play. And Kyle and Steve both know that. They forced the FBI to go premature on this, and they know they did. I'm not saying that they got bad intentions, because I really do believe that if Kyle is not a ghost, he thinks I'm retarded because I believe that, but I do. That I really do believe that he does believe where he's coming from. And, you know, what I have to gauge is whether, you know, Kyle's my friend or not, is emotions can cloud your judgment sometimes, because everything that I just said is not something that Kyle's not smart enough to know. He knows. He's just not going to take that position because of how he feels about the people that are in these positions of power. He's not. And maybe this is a curse. Maybe it's part of me that's naive, but this goes all the way back to when you interviewed me about my J6 case. And what did I tell you at that point? You know, I said the actual operators, the FBI SWAT guys that entered my house, I don't think they were bad guys. I think these case agents came in there, sold them a story, and they thought I was exactly what they're going to take down. You know, and I'm able to see that there's a lot of J6ers out there that will refuse to take that kind of position like I will. You know, and a lot of it probably has to do with my background. And like I said, it could be a curse, it could be a blessing. I don't know. The audience will decide.
I've got a lot of questions, man. Like this laid the foundation for a lot of things that fucked up a lot of Americans' lives. A lot. And if you're telling me that, and this is why I wanted to know when they acquired these phone records, etc. Because if they had this information during the last administration, nuke the whole fucking thing. Nuke the entire thing. It is utterly broken. Like,
it's completely broken.
We already know that it's broken, but it's criminally broken now. And every fucking swinging dick that touched this case and had any knowledge of any of this stuff, Sanborn, Christopher Wray, you know, every agent involved in this, D'Antuono, who covered up the Whitmer kidnapping, right? All of them. Ring them up, man. Like, not string them up. Ring them up. Don't string them up.
No, I'm talking about arrest every single one of them.
Yes, every fucking one of them. Every one of them,
and investigate them for treason. And if they're found guilty of treason, then whatever the Constitution outlines as a punishment, I support that. I think each one of them should have a fair trial. I think every single one of them should be afforded every single constitutional right that they denied me. And at the end of that, if they're found guilty, then, you know, God can have mercy on them. We don't have to. And then just somebody in the chat said, you know, ask Kyle about being pulled off the case. No, I interviewed Kyle quite a few times, and probably one of the reasons Kyle trusts me is I knew this information years ago. I never shared it because it was not my place to share.
What information?
The information about being pulled off, having the license plate number, and all that stuff. I knew about that years ago, but you know, it was information a friend shared with me in confidence, you know, to, you know, help each other out. And I don't burn people.
Yeah. Look, man, this is a kind of a gut punch, man, because nothing, again, and I hate doing this because every story that gets, you know, pushed out into the mainstream, the Afghan shooter, right? That story, you know, go back to the Green Beret that blew himself up in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas. That story. I mean, there's just the Pelosi Hammer Time guy. That story. Like, all of these stories are so fucking absurd. And all of them have crazy things that just get completely and totally ignored. The Pelosi one, for example, right? The guy, David DePape.
Oh, the hammer guy.
The hammer time. The original FBI report that they put out said that they had a witness that was close by that heard the breaking of the glass, and then minutes later, the police arriving. Well, they tried to tell us the breaking of the glass was 45 minutes before. And this is a very exclusive neighborhood. The people that are doing security in these neighborhoods are prior military and most likely prior special forces, you know, guys that are contracting with security firms. What?
Here's the issue with that. And I'll tell this to people.
Well, that guy, by the way, the guy disappeared, completely disappeared.
Well, I mean, you can go all the way back to the Vegas shooting with the security guards. I mean, this stuff's been, it's the things that are suspect have just been rampant. But here's what I'll share with people from real life, you know, anecdotal experience that I've experienced personally and that I've witnessed personally. And this is kind of why my mindset probably frustrates a lot of people when it comes down to these things and my takes. Is there a level of transparency that's warranted up until to prevent chaos? You know, yes. If there's an outstanding suspect, you got to be transparent because public safety is paramount. It's protection of life, then protection of property. So if there's a public danger, transparency until that danger no longer exists. Outside of that, the only transparency you need is very limited. But we've gotten into this age where there's so much distrust that all these different agencies, whether it's local, state, or federal, there's not even like a standard SOP on, you know, when something's going to be disclosed and it's not. It's all very situational, which makes it very inconsistent, which then creates more of a transparency, you know, suspicion that everybody has. So when people rush to be transparent, and you saw this is actually a mistake that I think Cash made during Charlie Kirk's thing, and then people run with it. Oh, this means it's something nefarious, right? And you know, when a guy's in custody or he's not in custody. And the reason is because people are trying to be transparent so much right away that you're going to be inaccurate when you do that. And now the people see inaccuracies as nefariousness, and that's just not true. When just your everyday cop, and if there's any cops in the chat, you know, back me up on this if you agree with me. You know, the initial information that comes out very rarely is what it actually is. However, if you were a citizen journalist and you FOIA, you know, what we call the teletypes, you know, the reporting parties called in and this is what they said, you know, all these different people. Someone's going to be in there and be like, oh, no, you know, Detective Luna said the car was a two-door car and it was blue, but we have 3 people here that said this. And then you go and it says, oh, they're lying. It's not. It's just there's inaccuracies all the time in major investigations, especially major investigations that have a lot of people involved in it. And so what ends up happening is in the teletypes, you know, whoever the dispatcher is, they'll start to clean it up as the call progresses. Now, there is a record of those cleanups, so that transparency is always there. But it doesn't always mean that things nefarious are happening. And that's what I would tell people. Just because something immediately is reported wrong, that doesn't mean it's deep state actions that are at play. That's just the world of, you know, situations that are trying to be triaged. That's all it is. Now, when you start to get days and weeks into the evolution of things, a little bit different. You know, you've had time to kind of, all right, put these pieces together, and then it's up to the, you know, the public information officer to come out and say, hey, this was our initial report and this is how we report it, but this was inaccurate and this is where we're at. But the problem with that is when they have done that, then people come out and say, oh, they're trying to cover shit up. See, now they're trying to cover shit up. No, they're just trying to correct the record. And so this is what this is, and this is where it's frustrating. And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to this. I'm just trying to identify the problem. Is people that are watching this podcast right now, you got to make a decision. It's if you're going to choose not to trust Cash and Bongino, and you say, I just don't trust them, well, then you got to ask yourself, then what's your next move? If it's just going to be distrust, you're going to be in a very bad place. If it's like, okay, and then if you are going to distrust them, write it down on the paper. These are the reasons why. And then research that to see if there's validity to those opinions you have. Because what I believe, and I'll give it to you here, Ken, what I believe is going on right now is all these investigations that they've been researching, there's so much corruption involved with them. What we talked about earlier on Daily with destruction of evidence and cover-ups and all that, that not only are they having to interview the current crimes that they're uncovering, but every time they uncover a cover-up, that's a whole new investigation. And that's one of the things that Cash said on the interview with Trump Jr. He says, the pace that we've done this at, while we uncover these cover-ups, you don't think he's the word cover-ups. I think he's something else, but he was referencing it. He goes, I'm very pleased with the speed we've done it at. And I agree with him on that. So I would just tell people, you got to make a decision.
Look, I am not at all down on Cash and Bongino. They were given a very, very, very tough job, a hugely tough job. Like I don't even think they've begun to uncover the amount of corruption that we've seen, not just over the last 4 years, but even during the Trump administration with Comey, with Wray, going and even going back beyond that. So I'm not down on them. I think one of the things that really aggravates the shit out of me is, we see this case unfolding here, right? This guy's eventually going to be brought before a federal judge in DC or in the Eastern District of Virginia, where ironically we just lost our U.S. attorney. And there's no transparency there. And I know as somebody that's a kind of a courtroom junkie, not nearly as much as Ash, but I'm a kind of a courtroom junkie. I would watch every fucking second of this guy's trial, but I can't. And to me, that's a problem. And so, we're going to see, like, for example, we've talked a lot about the Jeremy Brown trial, right? And that is one that I personally sat through. Massive amounts of corruption in the Jeremy Brown trial. Okay. Another one that we talked about was the Juan Orlando Hernandez, the Honduran president that was put in prison here in the United States.
I'm sorry, Petty 429 made me laugh.
So do I. It's out of habit. It's out of habit.
Me too. I look both ways crossing a one-way street.
The Juan Orlando Hernandez, me and did you get a phone call from Colonel Towner after Daily this morning?
I don't think so.
Oh, I kind of dumped on you a little bit. I was telling Colonel, I was like, man, at one point during Daily today, I had to tell Alpha, like, you were on with Colonel Towner doing Operation Gladio, and you somehow still think the FBI is not behind the entire operations in Venezuela. And I was just, but anyways,
he snitched, folks. We have it on record. He snitched.
No. Like I'd tell you that it wasn't a private conversation.
She totally snitched.
No, that's not a private conversation. I'm the one that said that to her.
He was snitching.
I'm the one that said that to her. And if there's a problem with that, you got to tell me that it's a confidential.
Let me know in the comment sections if you guys think that CannCon just snitched. All right, I'm gonna go read the comments.
Wait. I didn't say anything that she said about you. I only said what I said about you, and that I told Alpha today on the show. Have you not done a show with Colonel Towner for the last year about Operation Glad? I'm not saying anything about what she said. I'm not going to say that she called you an absolute piece of. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm saying that you snitched on me. That's what I'm saying. You snitched.
Absolutely. It was on. I mean, there was 5,000 people watching when we said it. So there's that.
Not Colonel Towner. So you snitched.
No, but it was.
I can't wait to read the comments.
What comments?
On the show.
No, don't worry about the comments on the show.
I'm gonna go read the comments after the show.
No, but so we were talking about like how the setup for this Carvajal guy, Hugo Carvajal Barrios, is very similar to that. Again, Juan Orlando Hernandez, the dude was fucking locked up over 3 guys who were deeply incentivized to testify against him, and that was it. That was it. That was the extent of the evidence against a Honduran, a former president of a sovereign nation, and we put him in prison. And so my whole point in doing like this whole thing here is that we need transparency in our court system, man. Like these federal trials have got to be televised, live streamed. Like we've got to be.
There, I unequivocally agree with you, with the exception of sexual crimes and child crimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Once it gets to the court system, full transparency. Now everything prior to that is where, you know, can't compromise an investigation because you want people to trust you.
Agreed.
People aren't going to trust you anyways. It doesn't matter if Bongino and them pulled out the books and showed everybody everything. People are going to say they're doctored books. It's just we're not there as a society yet. And we're not going to be there as a society until people see results. And I think Cash and Bongino recognize that based off some of the posts, the social media posts they put out earlier, you know, when they came out. You know, Bongino said it at least, I want to say 6 or 7 times. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean we're not doing things. And now we're starting to see some of the fruits of that labor we never got to witness. And I think over the next couple of years, people will be like, okay, now we get it. And you'll slowly work that back in.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Huck Fillery says CannCon may have snitched, but he also made Alpha look silly on Daily. Of course, the CIA was involved. Thank you, Huck Fillery. Somebody with an iota of intelligence.
I never said the CIA wasn't involved. We're just talking about the timing of it.
I know. No, the conversation was not privileged. I'm not a snitch.
Yeah, you totally snitched. Now, folks, I want you to go in the
comments. On me. I snitched on me. I told her, I was like, oh, I told Alpha today, like, you do a show with. No, we were talking about.
Somebody wrote the perfect explanation for what happened. Where is it? Here it is. Scarfinger, not snitching, but he did run to mama.
No, she called me actually. So there's that. There's that. She called me. You know who else I talked to today?
Who?
Harrison Floyd. Stay tuned for that interview tomorrow. Gonna spill the fucking beans on this. And then on Why We Vote tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Me and Ash got Patrick Byrne on. We're gonna talk about all this.
Bro, you're gonna have a fire Friday, man.
Yeah, I know. Tomorrow's gonna be so fucking lit, man. So lit.
And the conversation with Harrison, you're talking. That's a Marine, man. I remember when you had brought him on SITREP. Just the discipline and character that guy has is just what a solid dude, man. And I can imagine what he's felt like the last couple of years, just being like, God, I want to just. And tomorrow you guys are gonna get to hear it.
Yeah, so the Harrison interview is going to be over rumble.com/CannCon. Alpha will co-stream as well, rumble.com/the Alpha Warrior Show. And I think Ash is going to do it as well, rumble.com/MyAmerica. So go over to those 3 channels, subscribe over there. We will probably, I'm gonna see about getting it aired here as well. But it'll be pre-recorded. And again, 7:30 p.m. Why We Vote. Ash and I will have Patrick Byrne on. That's going to be awesome. Anita Happen says, what show? Why We Vote tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. And it's going to be fun, man. Let's jump into some rants. If I got them. There we go. Boom. There we go. Makes sense. Oh, wait. Let me start off. Do texted me. He can't rant. He said, I want to tell Alpha he's probably salty because he takes those pink Himalayan electrolytes from Conscious Strength.
Hell yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, they're so good. They're so.
I didn't have my dose of it today because I didn't go to. Today was a busy day, so I didn't get to the gym today. But I do it on my gym days. That stuff's awesome, you guys. If you haven't tried it, it's freaking awesome.
I haven't been to the gym in a few days, but I did go play golf yesterday. Hit balls. I didn't play golf. I hit balls. That's the first time I've hit golf balls in a month. It was so nice, man. So fucking relaxing. Makes sense to me. Says I watched Just Humans video on the actuals of Brian Cole. According to all the data, he's the guy. I mean, we just read all the actuals on the stuff, and I don't know that he's the guy, but
He's the guy.
Sure.
Here's where I'm at. He's the guy. I need to know who he was working with. And here's the thing, not dismissing the woman or the guy that Kyle and them still followed. He could have been someone who was surveilling that guy to make sure he did what he was supposed to do, and he didn't even know it. He can still be a bad person.
Fair.
And that's why her path can mimic. She could have been, because remember, he stopped and he looks around like that because he probably felt like he had a tail. And she could have been that tail.
I mean, the guy's a bondsman, so he probably has interaction with U.S. Capitol Police.
And his level of awareness is going to be a little bit more than a normal person as well. Especially when you're doing something like that. I mean, you're already going to have a heightened sense of paranoia.
But he wasn't smart enough to pay cash when he bought the devices. He wasn't smart enough not to take his cell phone.
He did on some of the purchases. He bought cash.
No,
he paid. No, they said they tracked some of the transactions to cash. We read it.
How did they track it to cash?
Well, that's easy. Once you know the device and he goes to that store, if you track the device to the store, then you go to the store surveillance and you just look for the person that matches.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. You go to store surveillance from 5 years ago.
I've done it.
Home Depot is saving store surveillance.
The only thing that's preventing you from doing that is how long what the store's retention policy is. That's the only thing that's preventing you from doing something like that. And stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, if we have someone in management, they can probably give us some insight to that. Those stores get sued. Right. So their retention's more than like a mom and pop shop that probably has 30 days or 60 days. Those things can probably have something. So
we got to find out the details on this case.
We do.
There's no fucking way they're holding data for more than a year. No way.
But just remember this, ladies and gents. She was probably still involved.
Yeah. Okay. Huck Fillery is this J6 pipe smoker, the same guy Kyle was surveilling when he got pulled off for asking to knock. Also, did you see we had a bill pass unanimously this week? HB 4423, 385 to 0 present. How could it be unanimous if it was 385 to 0 with 0 present? We're missing about 60, 50 people. We're missing 50 people. I don't know. I'll look that up, but go ahead. Did you want to say something?
I was going to say, I don't think that's the same person calling them or surveilling. I think calling them, and this is me going through the assumption that they didn't make an error in their surveillance. I think their surveillance really did lead them to that Air Force guy and that Capitol Police female. I think that information, I think they do.
Go ahead.
I think that who they identified is who they followed. I think this guy was someone that they never had eyes on as their surveillance team.
I'm wondering if this is the psilocybin bill in Texas and you just mislabeled it, because I type in HB 4423 and it's a psilocybin advisory council bill. So let's make Psyle great again. Breadmaker 62, keep diving in there, guys. Your knowledge is feeding the interest in this whole story. Much appreciated. Semper Fidelis. We don't say Fortis. Damn freaking coasties.
Bread
Semper Fortis. What does Semper Fortis mean? Like always building forts?
No, it's always courageous.
It's always prepared. I think it means always prepared, doesn't it?
Let me see. I thought it was always courageous. Let me see. Semper.
Always strong.
Always strong. Always courageous. Yeah.
I thought it meant always prepared. I don't know why. For CannCon from Huck Fillery, all the missing punctuation ambiguously ordered, and then whatever. By the way, what's a Rumble rant that reads itself? A self-explanatory one.
That shit's hilarious. I love that they did that to you right there. I love they did that to you right there.
Huck Fillery's epic. No. Did you see, you were on Daily, so you saw it.
Yeah. Right. When I was just like, when I said, don't even put the punctuation, just let him sound retarded when he reads it.
Keith O'Higgins, black man Brian Coles Jr. was put on FBI watch list after buying those 9-volt batteries. Weeks
I'm
later,
with you on that, Keith. I'm with you on that, Keith. That was red flag number 1, baby. That
What
was
is it?
red flag number 1.
Sudafed, and what's the other thing you buy with it to make meth? Sudafed and
Oh, that's not what he's talking about.
I know. I got it. Weeks later, a follow-up investigation discovered his house's smoke detector still chirping.
Oh shit, he actually pointed it out. I didn't read the rest of it.
Hell yeah. Bro, we gotta save that one. Keith O'Higgins, we gotta save that post for Y Chromes.
That one's for the book.
Keith O'Higgins, watch Y Chromes on Monday and re-rant that for Cam and JB and Jerome. Peyton Pooh, Cash and Dan were gathering public information. Now they have classified information. Pee patient. I always pee patient. Otherwise, you end up peeing on the lid, the seat. 10 months into plan of victory, 100 years in the making or more. Trust yourselves.
I'm with you there, Peyton Pooh.
Hell yeah. Reber Hart, 29. Tonight's show is why I totally love Badlands. Oh, I haven't seen you two wear the hats I gave you in Deadwood. I wear that hat all the time, actually. I will try and wear it next time. I don't typically wear hats on streams anymore. I used to. All right, and Petty 429, bro. G is gonna like kill me. Does he have like Michael Saylor on again tonight?
Actually, he did have somebody. No, I think it's next week. He has Cardone on next week, or is that tonight? If he had him on tonight, he's gonna be pissed with us.
Yeah, whatever. This is a quick one. Can you see it?
I can see it.
Ooh, he's snitching. Everybody, he's snitching. Hey, dude, get back.
I'm gonna text Colonel Towner right after the show and be like, hey, I dimed myself out in the conversation that we had today, where I said that Alpha is a normie because he thinks the CIA is good and that they totally had nothing to do with the drug cartels in
Allegedly, there's a story of a gang cop out there that when one of his partners had gang members pulled over and they were running their mouth and being disrespectful because they knew the cop couldn't do nothing, allegedly this gang cop would go up to the cop and be like, hey bro, he gets a pass, he's good with this, he gets a pass. So all the other gang members sit here. And everybody started looking at him like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what's that about? Allegedly. All right.
We got to get out of here. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in again tomorrow, 5 p.m. on my channel and Alpha's channel. We'll have Harrison Floyd. Then 7:30 p.m. on Why We Vote here on Badlands Media. We'll have Patrick Byrne. What do you got?
After you watch Rug Pull, I'm going to be live on a late show. Probably going to be about a 3.5 hour show. Just Alpha 2.0 for the week. So after you guys watch Rug Pull, I'd appreciate if you head on over there. Or catch the replay.
See you guys later.
Deodorant should do more than cover you up. It should protect you all day long.
Dude, the deodorant stick is legit. I like the mint one. And, you go work out and you kind of get like, you get funky if you work out. Dude, like at the end of my workout, like I'm sweating, shirt got all those sweat. Like I'm like, dude, I still smell good. Like I absolutely love it. If you guys haven't tried it, try it.
That's the difference with Soft Disclosure. No aluminum, no chemicals, just clean, natural ingredients that fight odor and keep you fresh through every workout, every meeting, every moment.
I've always struggled with the you can't use aluminum deodorant because you're going to die if you use it kind of thing, because all of the non-aluminum deodorant products suck pretty much. Yeah. This is different. This is all day. You're all day good, and you're not putting any of that disgusting chemicals right near your lymph nodes.
Soft Disclosure deodorant, real protection, real freshness, built on truth. Available in mint and lemon grapefruit. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off.
Soft Disclosure.